left-handed against a very talented Louisville team. Eagles in white, Louisville in the road black. We are underway. Our officials tonight, Ron Groover, Brent Hampton, and Justin Porterfield. A lot of basketball coming your way on a Wednesday night in the ACC. This is the first of a triple header. We'll have some ACC After Dark on the West Coast right here on ACC Network. Here's Chucky Hepburn, opening possession for Louisville. Finds Rain Smith. He's not shy to let it fly. Goes into the lane, comes up empty.
Really good defensive possession there for the Eagles. Staying in front of the basketball. And the one thing that's difficult to do is keep Louisville out of the paint, but more importantly, you have to defend without fouling.
Well, there's first-year head coach of the Cardinals, Pat Kelsey. I think he's everybody's coach of the year, not just in the ACC, but in the country. Took over the biggest project in all of college basketball, and he's turned it around in less than a season.
It's just been amazing what he's done in such a quick turnaround. And not just get Louisville back, but have them back and winning in a way that's just fun to watch, a style that's fun to watch. And everybody agrees. I think he's the ACC coach of the year, if not national.
Alley-oop to James Scott to open the scoring. Take a look at the Boston College starting five. No Chad Venning, so Jaden Hastings making his second career start. What do the Eagles need to do without Venning?
One, I think still opportunities like that. Louisville will switch a lot on the perimeter. You got to take a chance and go to the offensive glass like that, but they've got to take care of the basketball, and the biggest thing is defend without fouling.
The backdoor open, Terrence Edwards Jr. shakes free.
When you play aggressive like that, you got to look for backdoor cuts. Great job by Louisville, and again, they don't shoot it great, but they put a tremendous amount of pressure on you off the bounce. Got to control the paint points against these guys as well as defend the three-point line. I think it's an underrated aspect of the Cardinals' offense.
Open three, Josh Beadle. That rims out no good. Offensive rebound kept alive. Deion Brown cashes in the second chance point.
And BC starts 4 guards. They play small, and it's freed them up a little bit. With the injury to Elijah Strong, who may come back, they've gone smaller, and they spread you out. And that puts pressure on the guards. Now for the opposing teams, you got to box out. We've seen Louisville give 2 offensive rebounds up early.
And with Venning out for Earl Grant's team tonight, there is a conscious effort for Louisville to go inside. They're trying to feed James Scott early and often. Big opportunity for Jaden Hastings and the 4 Boston College guards out there. You mentioned they're playing small. You're playing even smaller without Venning out there.
You absolutely are. And it's freed the guards up to play. And now the question becomes when Hastings leaves the game, how small will they be? He was the backup big. Venning got the ball, 25 minutes a game, and he comes in and plays 15. Let's see how he handles the larger workload.
And for a Louisville team, I mean, they were dominant in January, 8-0 in the month of January. They won 10 straight from December 21st to February 1st. You want to get back to that winning ways. It's easier said than done. You have to do it on the road, midweek game after you lost in Atlanta to Georgia Tech, but this team is more than capable. And what was so surprising about the loss against Georgia Tech is it came out of nowhere. And they were playing as well as anybody in the country during that 10-game win streak.
Absolutely, but Georgia Tech has a talented roster. And you watch some of those guys play, you're not surprised. That team has just been riddled with injuries. So there's a disappointment in how they've started. But if you know that Georgia Tech followed it up, they had a big win, a triple overtime win at Clemson last night.
A chaotic stretch will reset the shot clock here, Boston College ball. They weren't just winning games 1 possession, 2 possession. They were dominating teams at SMU, at Syracuse, North Carolina, and Wake Forest. These are good teams. Wake, Clemson, UNC, and they're winning by double digits.
Their defense was dominant. I think that's the biggest thing that you saw during that winning stretch. And we talked about it. I said it in the open. They lost concentration on the defensive end of the floor at Georgia Tech. They were up double digits at the half and then allowed 50 points in the second half. And that, with a combination of cold shooting, allowed the Yellow Jackets to come away with the win.
And tonight, as Deion Brown turns it over to Josh Beadle, his heel was on the line. Tonight's about showing that that second half in Atlanta was a one-off. You flush that, you go right back to the team that was so dominant in January and had that 10-game win streak.
That's what you want to see. Pat Kelsey wants to see early. He knows this team is going to score. They're going to score points. And they can be cold shooting, but they put so much pressure on you and getting to the rim.
Traore lost the handle, and Boston College forces the turnover.
Great job there, just being strong, being physical. Traore, physical guard, big wing. He's playing undersized right now. We talk about he's playing a 5 right now.
Tried to lob it to Hastings instead. It ricochets off the rim. Louisville pushes it in transition. Edwards goes up and under. Perfect position for the follow flush. Abubakar Traore flying in for the finish.
First thing you got to do against Louisville is get back and guard the basketball. All 5 guys.
Brown, the floater does not fall. Here's Javon Hadley.
One thing that BC has is they have big guards. You see, Louisville plays inverted. They'll post their guards. They'll post Edwards. They'll post Hadley, and then they'll space you out and shoot their threes.
Traore scoop to the hoop, and that's a goaltend. And that brings us to our first stop in the action. Louisville doubling up Boston College early. Abubakar Traore has the last 4 for the Cardinals.
For guys that groom young men and learn a lot about the game, you couldn't pick 2 better guys.
And of course, the current head coach of College of Charleston is former Louisville head coach Chris Mack. That program looks like it's headed to another NCAA tournament.
Yeah, PK didn't leave the cupboard bare. Chris Mack inherited Player of the Year in Berzovich. And
he did take Rain Smith and James Scott with him, though.
Yeah, didn't leave him everything. You couldn't leave them all. I left you the Player of the Year in the conference. I can't leave you everything.
Scott with the ball here, hands it off for Hadley. And here's Rain Smith, quick trigger. Rattles in and out, no good. Tipped in, Hadley got a hand to it.
They spread you out, and it's so difficult. When you're guarding Rain Smith, you got to cheat out to get to him. A little late in that closeout, got away with it, and then you got to box out.
And Boston College has missed 6 in a row. A 3.5-minute scoring drought for the Eagles. Hepburn, pull-up, pop. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Chucky Hepburn.
This is how the threes come. They attack you in the paint, you suck in, your defense starts thinking you got to protect the rim, which you do, and then they start pulling up threes and knocking down threes. And they lead the ACC in field goal attempts from the three-point line. Forget the percentages. They're going to shoot so many threes that eventually the percentages, they're going to start knocking them down.
It's a 9-0 run for the Cardinals. They have found an offensive rhythm early in this one. Kick to the corner, Smith. Hepburn launches a deep 3 and hits it. Back-to-back threes for Chucky Hepburn.
You got to throw the percentages out. Lack of communication on the switch. Are we switching? Are we not? You're late on the closeout. He just knocked down 1. And as I told you, he's having a heck of a year. I think he's definitely an all-conference guard. I can't imagine no one would not vote him in. What he's meant to this team and what he does is just amazing.
Much-needed bucket. Donald Hand Jr. snaps a 12-0 Louisville run. And Jr. trying to run that off.
You gamble there in the backcourt. You don't pick up the basketball. You're inside a 3, stops, pops, knocks it down, walks into 1. Here, there's confusion on the ball screen. Why not? I'll have 2. Chucky Hepburn's hot start here in the first half.
You're going to watch both of these teams let it fly all night long. You said that green light that Pat Kelsey has granted his team 31 three-point attempts per game.
Yes. And that's been, you go back to College of Charleston, it was the same. Throw the percentages out. You can't look at these guys and say, oh, Chucky Hepburn's only shooting 33%. I can close out late. As we've seen so far the first half, no, you can't. You got to get up and get out there and guard him. Oh, and by the way, he leads the ACC in assists by breaking it down and creating for himself and teammates.
Hepburn, the hot hand early, passes this one off, and it's another triple. This time, Terrence Edwards Jr. drills it.
And that's what's so concerning when you play Louisville. Edwards only shooting 28%, but it does not matter.
Fred Payne answers with a triple of his own. That's Boston College's first made three of the night.
And Fred Payne shoots over 40% from the three-point line. Has been playing well in the last few games. Averaging over 14 points a game over the last 5 games. The guard play of BC has scoring ability.
Is this a case, Randolph, where if you know you're playing Louisville, you know, hey, we probably have to take a few more threes if we want to keep pace?
Well, you got to score. I think that's the biggest thing. And that's somewhat you say, they play at a pace and a style that you got to do the little things. You got to box out. You got to find where Rain Smith is and limit him when you can. But keeping them out of the paint is challenging because they have 4 or 5 guys that's capable of beating you off the dribble. But you've got to be efficient enough in the offense that you can score. And right now, you're talking about a team that's losing Chad Venning inside, puts more pressure on these guards.
And that's kind of my point. You can't play through Venning in the post like you probably want to. So you play 4 guards, just let it fly. And if you connect on enough of them, you can hang around.
That play is the prime example. Elijah Strong comes in. He's accustomed to starting and accustomed to seeing Chad Venning inside. He's looking for the high-low action. But he's missed a couple of games. He's been out. This lineup, where BC has started playing better, is playing with the 4 guards and spreading you out.
Noah Waterman, his first action after missing 4 games. Good to get him back if you're a Louisville fan.
Yeah, it's great to see him back. And he's someone you can ignore his numbers as well. He's had a thumb injury, and he's been out all year. He came back, tried to just play without it. Pat Kelsey decided to shut him down, let him get himself healthy. And I think it's a great idea as we approach February. We're getting into the stretch run. He needs a couple of games to get his rhythm back. But you're talking about a big man that can stretch the floor, shoot threes as well, and brings much added size and depth to the Cardinals lineup.
Chaz Kelly picks up where he left off on Saturday. He was the hero hitting the game winner against Florida State and connects on his first shot of the night here.
They can score. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They got enough shooting and scoring. They got to rebound and get stops and take advantage of opportunities like this in transition.
Payne, the trailer, tries to feed it inside to Hastings. Ripped away, but stolen back. Payne, the floater. Hastings, the one-handed jam.
Wow. Hastings playing it like James Scott, being in that dunker spot and attacking the offensive glass. Great job on the tip dunk there.
And after Louisville got up big, it's a Boston College 8-0 run to cut it to 5.
Love to see it when a big man gets himself involved in the game by going to the glass to get an easy one. Louisville up 5.
Kelly hit the game winner to beat Florida State. This team could score in bunches. In that comeback, they scored 15 points in the final 50 seconds. A remarkable comeback. And now trying to follow it up here at home against a really good Louisville team, the Cardinals, 9-2 in ACC play. When you take a look at the ACC, everyone knows Duke is 1, but Louisville and Clemson kind of 2A, 2B, and the Cardinals, after a 10-game win streak, was snapped on Saturday, trying to get back in the win column here in Chestnut Hill.
Well, there's no question. They know what happened last night. They were in 3rd place, and with Clemson losing, they're back in 2nd place. They understand that. They know what's at stake.
Hadley draws contact. Hastings thought he got all ball, and he did, but it was Dion Brown who committed the foul first. So as you look at the ACC standings, you were talking earlier today, Randolph, you feel like there's separations in the pack. And a Duke, Clemson, Louisville has separated, and then that bottom 3. And remember, if you're in that bottom 3 at the end of the regular season, you don't even get to go to the ACC tournament. So if you're Boston College, you have to find a way to battle out of the position you're in.
Some teams that are on the outside of the NCAA tournament can look at the tournament and see the run that NC State made a year ago, and there's hope. Some teams are getting healthy. You look at a Notre Dame, you look at a Georgia Tech. They're starting to play better basketball, getting ready for the home stretch. For those teams at the bottom, this BC team, the Miami team, NC State, your run is now. You have to begin your run now because you're 2 and 3 games behind.
Right.
Your level of desperation has to pick up right now to give yourself a chance to have a postseason.
Yeah, you have to be in it to win it.
Yes.
And BC now 2 games behind in the win column, climbing out of it. You have to take control, particularly of these home games, regardless of how good the competition is. Louisville a 7-point lead. Edwards Jr. walked before he dribbled. So a triple header tonight on ACC Network. A week from tonight, a double header that starts in Atlanta, Stanford at Georgia Tech, and then number 2 Duke Cooper Flag and Company taking on Andrei Stojakovic and Cal. That is at 9 Eastern right here on ACC Network.
And this is an interesting lineup you see with both teams. There's really no true big man on the floor.
Now, is that more Louisville matching Boston College, who's been forced to go small because no Chad Venning? Because you'd think, you know, the way Pat Kelsey's had his rotations this year, you'd want a James Scott, or especially with Waterman back, or even Frank Anselm eBay.
And they both have played, and they'll continue to play. But this is when I say Louisville is inverted. You see Edwards there. Edwards and Hadley play like bigs when they're matched up. They'll find a matchup with smaller guards. Those guys back you down, and then when you come in to help, that's when they kick it out and everyone else starts shooting threes. BC has to do it a little bit differently. It's got to be dribble, drive, penetration, or maybe Elijah Strong on post ups.
Payne can't connect on the triple. Hepburn lines up the 3, missed it. Chucky had knocked down 2 earlier, but can't connect there. And Elijah Strong stays down for Boston College on the other end of the floor.
And he's just getting back from an injury. He missed the last 4 games, and he's limping off the court. Yeah. Much needed knee bump there. Let's hope he's okay and get back out there.
Strong clearly frustrated. His last action was at Notre Dame on January 13th.
And this is just how Louisville plays, those guards. Edwards will back you down as a smaller guard. Gets to the rim, essentially play like a big. That's their version of throwing it inside to a big. It's through their guards, and when you start helping, their spacing is great.
So Boston College very short-handed in the front court. Rain Smith knocks down the triple. That's what he does better than almost anybody in the country.
You have to know when you're playing Louisville. After on a baseline out of bounds, or after a timeout, if Rain Smith is in the game, there's a high percentage that the plays to get him a shot. That time they ran the elevator doors and get him a 3 off a baseline out of bounds. You've got to be conscious of that when you're playing against Louisville.
Cardinals on a 7-0 run. BC scoreless in the last 2 minutes and 18 seconds. It's allowed Louisville to cushion their lead again in this first half. Donald Hand Jr. been quiet. Misses. And Hepburn digs it out for Louisville. Hepburn not on the same page with James Scott, and that's a turnover.
Hepburn thought it was Scott had the angle to get a lob, unable to get 2 hands on that. The turnover there. Not a great possession there by BC on the other end of the floor. Hand, I thought, took a contested shot. I think they ought to attack Rain Smith in these ball screens. Chucky Hepburn is not the guy you want to attack to initiate your offense. He's just too good of an on-ball defender.
Deion Brown in trouble. Shot clock down to 6, and that's a turnover. And Louisville's really cranked up their defensive pressure. You were just talking about all the things Chucky Hepburn does, but it's almost like he's always had it, even when he was at Wisconsin. He's getting the guys around him to play like he plays.
Yes. It's easier to hold guys accountable when they see the effort you're putting forward. And on the perimeter, they have really good size, length, and ability to defend you on the perimeter.
Hadley open for a 3, and he gets it to go. Javon Hadley joins the 3-point shooting party. Louisville's knocked down 5 in this first half.
You're in scramble mode. When that penetration starts, It starts because they force you in rotation. You're going to have to scramble on a weak side and really give the effort. A lot of east and west, a lot of dribbling. Those are different shots there, but Hand is just, he's on a heater right now. In his last 5 games, shooting over 57% from behind the three-point line.
And that ends a Louisville 10-0 run. The Cardinals in the driver's seat here at Chestnut Hill, a 12-point lead.
Hadley gets in on a 3-ball shooting after the penetration. Better than they do. And I think it's a trade that helps them now. I think it's a trade if they don't win a championship in about 2 or 3 years, they'll look upon it and hope maybe they didn't make such a trade, but I like it in the short term.
Now, Jared Dudley, Jason Kidd certainly have their hands full. That Maverick staff in here at Boston gives an opportunity for one of the all-time great Eagles to come back. You know his number is going to be hanging in this place one day.
Absolutely. He's over there watching the game with Shamgod and Keith Veeney. Those guys were ballers themselves. It's a lot of great players, great minds in the Dallas Mavericks organization.
Dudley scored more than 2,000 points in his career for Boston College. Now watching them take on Louisville. BC trailing by 12. Beadle, the floater. Doesn't drop, but he tips it in.
Great job. Spacing you on the floor, you drive, you kick, you drive closeouts. Gives you an opportunity when you move the basketball and you play unselfishly. It gives you opportunities like that, even when you miss a shot, to get an offensive rebounds because the defense is chasing.
Here's Javon Hadley. Finds Hepburn. Chucky Hepburn down the lane. Everything but the finish. Knocked around. Louisville keeps it in play and a foul called. And Louisville a 10-point lead. They've built it with balanced scoring through Hadley, Edwards Jr., and Hepburn. BC a tough shooting start. 2 of their first 11, but shooting 50% since.
Again, we talked about it with them. Offensively, they'll be an ebb and flow offensively, but right now they seem to be dialed in on the defensive end of the floor. And when Hastings is in, they seem to want to attack him in ball screens right now. And
Hepburn, he got free going against Hastings, couldn't connect on the 3, and Boston College gets the stop.
One thing that's noticeable when you play Louisville, when I say they're connected, you watch the group, they switching as Elijah Strong checks in the game, and we notice, glad to see him back. But with Louisville, they're really intentional about, as a group, they see matchups they like. That time, Hastings, the freshman, is in the game, switches on Hepburn. He drives, kicks it out. They wait for Hepburn to get back to the three-point line, give him the ball, and say, hey, go make a play or take the shot. They do that quite a bit. When they love matchups, all guys are on board with making sure you take advantage of that.
Checking back in again for the Cardinals, Terrence Edwards Jr.
Well, the revival for Louisville built through the transfer portal. Pat Kelsey, year 1, knew he had to get winners in like Chucky Hepburn, but it's not just Hepburn.
No.
Veterans that have been through the trenches and know what it takes to win.
Veteran group, ton of experience, but more importantly, they all won. And in order to win, you've got to be willing to sacrifice, and that's what he's asking his guys to do a lot, is sacrifice themselves for the betterment of the team, and they're buying in.
And Junior hits the 3. It's an 8-0 BC run. Every time Louisville starts to separate, Boston College has punched back. This Sunday, ACC women's basketball, noon Eastern time, the Commonwealth Clash, Virginia Tech and Virginia, and then a top 21 battle, Cal, in South Bend to take on Notre Dame. Waterman open in the corner. Got it! Welcome back, Noah Waterman. He's missed the last 4 games. He looks good in his return from injury.
Now, if Noah Waterman can come back and be what they expected from the beginning of the season, because he has not been healthy. His ability at his size to stretch the floor can add an element to Louisville and make them even one step better.
Great hustle play by Deion Brown to keep it alive. He was going for that rebound amongst the trees. And Elijah Strong back into the game. Now Boston College limited options tonight with Chad Venning out for the front court. So good to see Strong back in for the Eagles. Here's Hepburn.
Gotta contain the dribble to keep the ball out of the rim.
Step back three. Hadley buries it. Javon Hadley, he has 10 points in this first half.
Elijah Strong was thinking that, but he gave too much room, and Hadley knocks down a three.
Louisville's knocked down 4 of their last 5 threes. Boston College is shooting a lot better, but Louisville's still a 9-point lead, and they've built it with the 3 ball.
Hadley knocking down the 6-3 here in the first half. The Louisville Cardinals. First 10 points of the game were inside the paint, and then you start trying to defend that, and then you're in rotation, you start giving up threes, and that's why this team has been able to, even with their injuries and all the new body and the collection of new talent, there's been so much success here early.
Chucky Hepburn has accounted for 2 of those 7 threes in this first half. Noah Waterman with his heel on the line. Turnover.
I'm always fascinated when I watch Louisville. Literally every time. I think it's a game within a game when you play Louisville. Pat Kelsey is drawing up something every time he comes out. He's not relying on the traditional sets that he has. He's always drawing up something new.
And Jr. starting to heat up. That's his second triple, and Boston College has cut it to 6. 2-possession game.
Where would BC be without him? It's just a terrific scorer and shooter, and he's a difficult shot maker. He makes difficult shots look easy. You can't give him open looks.
Traore right to the rack for 2. Louisville back up by 8.
They got to make the adjustment against Traore when he comes in. You got to back up. He has a quick first step. When he squares up, you got to concede the jump shot against him and make him a jump shot. He's only 1 of 6 from the 3-point line anyway. He doesn't take many, so when he gets it and squares up, got to back up.
Payne, pull-up pop, a deep 2 goes begging. Both of these teams have been shooting the ball very well in this first half. Louisville has made 4 in a row now. Boston College had made their last 3 before that Payne miss. 2 minutes left in this first half. 10-point lead for the Cardinals on the road. Here's Josh Beadle, spins his way into the lane, keeps going for 2.
Nice move there. No settle there. No mid-range shot. No pull-up jump shots. You got to get back, get matched up. A great move there by Beadle getting to the rim.
Waterman can't knock down the open 3. Beadle bounces it off his own foot. Louisville basketball. To your point, where would Boston College be without Donald Hand Jr.? He was a backup on this team a year ago. The 5 guys in front of him, look where they're playing now. Quinton Post, he started the other night for the Golden State Warriors. You got 2 players in the SEC, Jaden Zachary at Clemson atop the ACC and Prince of League Bay at Seton Hall.
Yeah, I mean, you lose that. That's hard for anyone to overcome. And I think it's more disappointing because it's just a sign of the times. I don't know if anyone outside of Virginia Tech has lost as much as BC has throughout college basketball in the transfer portal.
Here's Rain Smith, contested triple, no good. A little more than a minute left to this first half. Boston College has hit 4 of their last 5.
1 minute remaining, 1 minute.
Louisville has shot better than 50% tonight. Boston College has kept pace after a slow start. The Eagles went down by 15 early in this one.
That's a possession there. Chaz Kelly's struggling to get down the court. But you had Rain Smith with Donald Hand having the basketball in his hand. That's the guy you attack.
Well, Pat Kelsey is livid because the officiating crew blew play dead, and Rain Smith hit an uncontested 3. They blew it because Kelly appeared injured and obviously, limps off.
He drives it there. Maybe he comes down on the foot.
The officials blow it dead right as Smith launches that three.
Pat Kelsey has a right to be a little
Louisville
upset
fans not happy with that one.
because the same thing happened earlier and they didn't blow the whistle and stop it.
And if you're going to blow it, you got to blow it earlier, right?
Yes, much earlier than that.
Hepburn scoop to the hoop for 2.
Just too easy there. No communication on the ball screen. Second breakdown on ball screen coverage.
Hepburn has 8 in this first half. Louisville back up by 10. That rolled around, did not drop for Hand Jr. 10 seconds left in this first half. Smith missed that one. 3 seconds for Boston College. A half-court heave. Josh Beadle.
And they lost a little confidence on the offensive end. Shots don't fall, but your defensive effort got to continue to be there. I'm sure they got a quick reminder of that at halftime. We were here just a couple days ago. We got to continue to guard and defend.
And Josh Beadle steps on the line. Louisville forces a turnover on the opening possession of this second half.
And BC has to continue to do the little things. They actually beat Louisville in second chance points, outscoring at 10-3. Limited Louisville to 5 points in transition. Got to continue to win the battle with 50-50 balls. Give themselves a chance to get back. Try to get this to a 1-possession game here.
Here's Hadley. Shot clock down to 5. Puts it up. Doesn't drop. Donald Hand Jr. had the hot hand of the first half. 13 points for BC. Fade away. Misfires.
You don't mind that shot with him. It's just a score. You got to allow him to go. I don't think other guys can enjoy the leash that he has offensively. You got to live with those type of shots from him.
And usually Hepburn will make you pay from there. Both of these teams have come out a little flat offensively in the second half after really BC got off to that slow start, trailed by 15, and then was even with Louisville, both shooting really well. Louisville over 50%, BC at about 45%.
I love to watch Josh Beadle play as well. He's a veteran guy, but he knows what he is. He just doesn't force shots. You know, I often say I love to watch a guy. Percentages tell me a lot about him. And he's shooting 50% from the field and 56 from 3. That tells me he knows what he is. Takes good shots. Really efficient point guard.
And Louisville has missed their first 4 shots of this second half. It's allowed Boston College to get back in this game. Great look inside, and just like that, 2-possession game.
Just keep chipping away. Keep sharing the basketball. Concerted effort to get Hastings the basketball. They know the double team's coming.
Now, one thing we didn't have a lot of in the first half was fouls. Only 2 free throw attempts. Fouls coming here as you take another look at the Hastings look inside.
There's no quit in this team. They're going to continue to fight. And again, they're playing their best basketball. They're comfortable. They're confident. You know, sometimes you just luck into something as a coach, and you luck into a smaller lineup, which means creates more spacing. He said this to us today. We just simplify things. You know, I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to force things. We got smaller guards. Just run less plays, ball screen, space the floor, dribble, drive, and shoot.
But with Venning out, and for as well as Louisville has played in ACC play, you're thinking this could get ugly. And instead, you're right, Boston College has gone small, and it's worked despite that slow start. They missed 2. They've missed 9 of their first 11 shots, but since they've been right there with Louisville.
Because this is a different Boston College team. Throw the record out. Like I said, the injury to Elijah Strong has forced them, and then he was out, and then you add Benning being out now. Now they really only have one big man in Hastings. And you're sitting there going, how do we play? So we play with 4 guards. Now they're scoring more. They're passing the ball more. It's putting pressure on other teams, the opponent's defense.
Hepburn forces a goaltend. The blow by Chucky Hepburn. That's what he can do. Counted for 2.
That's on the freshman Hastings there. He's been told, you can tell all week about the lob ability of Scott, who's going to roll, catch the lob. When that ball screen set, Scott's no longer your defender. You got to help stop the basketball. You can't give up uncontested layups.
The lead back to 9 for Louisville. But as we just showed you, this is a Boston College team that came from down 15 on Saturday to beat Florida State, and Donald Hand Jr. hits the jumper. He has 15 to lead the Eagles.
He's evolving into a guy right in front of our very eyes. He missed last year with an injury. He's picking up strong.
Great take. Javon Hadley has been a problem all night long. He leads Louisville with 13.
He and Edwards will pick a matchup, and if you got a smaller defender on him, when they get in the half court, no hesitation in trying to post him. I think Rain Smith's the guy you got to try to attack.
Deion Brown does just that right on cue.
Yeah, he's the guy. You got to try to make him work defensively. I think attacking Edwards and Hadley and Hepburn is not the easiest thing to do. They're really good defenders.
Here's Hepburn. Rejected at the rim by Hastings. And then Hepburn, maybe a frustration foul there on Beadle.
Yeah, great job by Hastings there. Coming over.
The Celtics tomorrow. Quiet week for everyone associated with the Dallas Mavericks, right?
Come on, man. The whole world talking about it as they should. I mean, the Luka trade, man, listen, Luka's one of the best players in the NBA. Anthony Davis is a top 10 player in the NBA. Listen, we're all shocked. No one saw it coming when you hear Nico and J. Kidd talked about it, that only it was between the GM, Rob Pelinka, and him. That is truth. I was in my bed in Cleveland at 12:30 in the morning, like you guys, thinking it was a fake trade, you know?
What have you seen from the BC Eagles tonight?
You know what, to be honest with you, I came in, I was about 5 minutes late. When I came in, my man, number 13 right here, was putting on the show. Earl Grant, you can tell when he runs his sets, well organized. They know exactly what they want to do. People are playing definitely in their system. Defensively, you can tell they're a switch team, right. 1 through 4 switch. The 5-man kind of on a little bit. We call it a channel 1 or a drop here, but they run their sets. They want to shoot threes like the NBA. I even seen some couple plays called stack that the Celtics and we run. But I mean, I'm just taken back because I'm in an arena that I used to play at. I'm half watching the game, half seeing, security that still work here 20 years later, man.
A lot of good memories, I'm sure, for you being here.
Man, listen, this is the city, the town that made me who I am as a man and as a basketball player. I'm just glad to have so many good memories here.
Yeah, joined by Eagles great Jared Dudley. He scored over 2,000 points for Boston College, played over 900 NBA games. So for me, I'm thinking, that's enough basketball. You're good. Instead, you decide to get into coaching with the Dallas Mavericks. What made you want to stay around the game of basketball after such a successful playing career?
I think you have opportunities in life. You can plant a lot of different seeds, and one of them grew when Jason Kidd offered me the front bench. I was thinking about playing another year or going to the GM program and try to become a GM. But when he offered me the front bench, then I already know you're 3 to 5 years away if it's the right situation to become a head coach. So it just, I basically got to skip 3 or 4 steps being on the front bench. And who wouldn't want to learn from Jason Kidd, Hall of Famer? At that time, we had Luka. You had the Mavericks of the future, which we just came off a finals run. So for me, I've always kind of been a coach, even at BC, as a rookie in the NBA and towards the end of my career helping LeBron James and watching film, which is kind of a natural God-gifted ability.
Tied up here, good physical contest in the ACC. Jared, we appreciate the time. Last thing, when's your name going up here? I'm looking at all the retired names. You got to be going up here.
Man, listen, I was talking about this when I was in college. They told me you had to be retired for 20 years.
What?
It was some rule, because Troy Bell, I don't know how long ago he got his retired. It's been a while, and he was before me at BC, but it'll happen. My kids will come back here. It's only a matter of time, and you might see me down the road here. You never know.
It's well-deserved and it's long overdue.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys. Anytime.
I really enjoyed catching up with one of the all-time greats for Boston College, Jared Dudley, now an assistant coach with the Mavericks. They're in town to play the Celtics tomorrow. And while we were talking with Dudley, Chucky Hepburn took a hit still being looked at by the medical staff over on the Louisville sideline. We'll get you an update as soon as we have one.
Yeah, he gets in the paint. It's the contact, and yeah, let's hope he's all right. That's a major concern for Coach Kelsey and the Cardinals right now. He's laughing over there on the bench. I think he just took one below the belt.
And Boston College shooting their first free throws of the night, and Elijah Strong knocks them both down.
And BC's right there. They're just hanging around. Can they string together a few more stops?
Especially with Hepburn out of the game. Instead, Javon Hadley wide open underneath the basket for an easy two.
Yeah, that's a switch there. Elijah Strong didn't see it. Let the cutter get right behind him. And again, they can't keep, in a game like this, you can't keep giving up uncontested layups off blown assignments. Louisville's difficult enough to beat.
Contested take, and Deion Brown knocks it down. Edwards Jr. through contact draws the foul. Our next gymnastics meet right here on ACC Network is Sunday. Top 25 matchup, Clemson at North Carolina. ACC Gymnastics right here Sunday, 4 Eastern Time on ACC Network.
They slide out of bounds. I'll say it again. You got to know where, even inbound in the basketball, you got to know where Rain Smith is.
He knocked down the last three he took. Shooting 2 of 5 from 3 tonight. And Louisville, as a team, has hit 8 from beyond the arc. Tough take, Javon Hadley, 17 points tonight.
You did a really good job of defending the play. Again, it was the design for a dribble handoff with Rain Smith, and Hadley just kept it, drove it, powered in a layup there.
Louisville has made 6 of their last 7, 4 in a row. It's still in the driver's seat, a 12-point lead. Boston College just can't seem to chip away at it. They'll get down to 6, but they can't really get it under 6 after falling down by 15 early in the first half. Edwards Jr. bodied up by Payne, trying to spin his way free. Knocked to Waterman in the corner. No good. Offensive rebound, Hadley. What a night he's had. Looking for more. Javon Hadley, the sweet lefty hook. He has 19.
I think you got to double their wings, their guards, when they post it up there. And that's the situation with an offensive rebound. You've got to get the ball out of the paint against this team.
Elijah Strong goes up strong for 2. Louisville continues to play without Chucky Hepburn, who exited the game 3.5 minutes ago with an apparent injury. Try and get you an update as soon as possible on that. And misfires that time. Couldn't connect.
Your hand has the green light, and you never mind him taking shots. But I thought he's taking the 2. Those last 2 shots quick. It looks like he feels he has to score, and he does, but can be a little more cautious about it.
Pull up pop. And Rain Smith draws contact. And we have a stoppage at play. Javon Hadley. He has taken over this one in Chestnut Hill. 19 points for Javon Hadley. And he's got his Louisville Cardinals up by 12 in the second half. Yeah, they've played okay without him. He left at the 15-15 mark, and Louisville has outscored Boston College 9-6 since. And look, they can hold on to this 12-point lead without him. You just hope that he's available for the next time Louisville plays.
Well, and even this game, I mean, with the way BC has confidence in when they come back. As I told you before, you've got to know where Rain Smith is on baseline, out-of-bound plays. And this team is playing, this is a different BC team. With these 4 guards and the backcourt that they have, Payne coming in, as we talked about, knocking down threes, shooting over 40%. They can score. There's a feeling about them when they're in these games. They can come back. Once you've done it once, you feel you can do it again. And so I don't want to count them out dismissing, thinking that they can't come back and make this a game.
Yeah, just a few days ago, Boston College trailed by 8 with a minute to go, and they won the game in regulation against Florida State. Offensive foul is the call underneath. And if you need a reminder of the thrilling finish Saturday, Boston College trailed big in this game, including by 8 with a minute to go, and somehow found a way to win. A thrilling finish. 5 points in the last 6 seconds, including this thrilling Chaz Kelly heave. That's your game winner. So as you said, they're going to come in with some confidence, no doubt. Hey, no matter how many we're down, we feel like we could come back and win.
They have the guards that can do it, and definitely when you got a guy in DJ that can make shots. You know you have a dude, a closer. They just got to continue to compete, and let's see how Louisville responds without their leader for the remainder of this game, potentially.
And it was just the opposite for Louisville. They led by 11 at halftime against Georgia Tech on Saturday and lost, so they've got to be able to close it out down the stretch here and get back to winning ways. A 10-game win streak that was snapped on Saturday. You know, Pat Kelsey and this team want to get back and start a new winning streak. Terrence Edwards Jr. lays it up and in, ends a 2.5-minute scoring drought for Louisville.
That's a play there where Hastings did a really good job of switching, but he left his feet and gave up the angle. You can't do that against a veteran team or any really good offensive player. They'll take advantage of it.
Stolen away. Hadley got caught in midair. It falls to Smith. Handoff. Edwards spins his way in, goes up and hits it. Back-to-back buckets for Terrence Edwards Jr.
Yeah, turnover there. You get back, you can't match up. Easy penetration by Edwards, getting to the rim.
And another turnover forced by Louisville. Boston College's 11th turnover. And the Cardinals continue to capitalize. Kenai Ruth's the freshman. And it is all Louisville, a 6-0 run. And right now, BC in a 15-point hole. Louisville on a 6-0 run. Boy, do they need that coming out of the timeout. Donald Hand Jr. delivers.
He has that ability just to put the ball in his hands, create an opportunity for himself or his teammates. A great finish there and a timely basket that the Eagles needed desperately.
Big block on the other side by Hastings.
Great job there. I thought Scott got away with a travel there. I thought he shuffled his feet. Didn't call it, but Hastings cleaned it up nonetheless.
Boston College looking to string together some stops against a Louisville team shooting 51% on the night. They get one here.
Great adjustment there by Hastings, doing a better job of staying in between the ball and the basket, forcing a mid-range teardrop, and securing a rebound.
Here's Strong, poked away. Javon Hadley picked the pocket, and Payne steals it right back. Payne off the window and in. The steal and the score for Fred Payne. And a foul called. Strong can't believe it on the inside. He is livid. Earl Grant can't believe it either.
I thought that was really good defense there. That's a tough whistle. It's a great job there. I thought Louisville had numbers. Great steal by Payne, going in with the right hand in the finish.
And that is a really difficult call to make in a game that has not seen a lot of fouls. I mean, that is just the 16th foul call tonight. There's only been 6 free throw attempts in this game.
It's been a clean game. I think both teams have played well. Louisville just a little bit more consistent on the offensive end of the floor and a little less turnovers. But again, BC has shown when they get down, they've been able to string together some baskets and some stops to get back in it.
Had Jr. calls the foul on the other end of the floor. Gives us time to remind you that next Wednesday right here on ACC Network, don't want to miss this doubleheader. At 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Cal at Duke. Is Duke going to be the national champion?
I think they're one of about 4 or 5 teams that you'd have as favorites. I mean, they're one of the best defensive teams, I think, in all of college basketball. When you got a player like Cooper Flagg, all-around game and the way that they defend as a unit is, you can very well see them cutting down the nets.
Hadley on the inside, missed it. Now the other question is anyone going to beat Duke in ACC play? Undefeated, and really nobody's put a glove on them.
If I had to place a bet on it, I'd say I think the game at Louisville, like Clemson, could be their toughest challenge remaining.
Nobody picked up Edwards, an easy layup, and Louisville extends their lead to 14.
Boston College is going to look back at this game, and there's a couple of possessions where they've just given uncontested layups like that they'll look at. That's like the 5th layup they've gone. And this game has been around 10 points all game long.
Louisville is campus. It gives Cardinals only a 59% chance of making the tournament. Are you kidding me? Oh, the numbers are lying, folks. The computer is broken. I spoke with our bracketologist, Joe Lenardi, earlier today. He says it's more like 85%, 90%.
Yes.
He's got him as a 7 seed right now. So I think it's going to be more about seeding versus will they make it.
Absolutely. Anything short of a collapse here that I just don't see coming, keeping Louisville out of the tournament. 59%. Who's making that bet?
Apparently ESPN BPI, we need better computers. The metrics, whatever it's calculating, is lying. The eye test has continued to prove that Louisville is not just one of the top teams in the ACC, but they're a team once they get into the tournament that can make a run.
They can. When you defend the way they defend, and there's Noah Waterman, who's in the game now, and he gets a couple of games under his belt as he's finally getting healthy this season.
And the other thing for Louisville is you look at their remaining schedule, Randolph, and Pat Kelsey's team, it's a pretty easy schedule. Now, conference games are tough to win,
yes,
granted. But the teams remaining, there's really not a team left. Look, they've got the easiest schedule in the entire ACC the rest of the way. And the only problem is, in terms of their resume, there's not a game that can really help them. They're it's one of those you expect to win all of them, but it can hurt you if you lose one like they did against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and again, they had won 10 straight prior to that game against Georgia Tech, and they're playing well enough right now that they can hold on without Chucky Hepburn being out, unless monitor his injury situation going forward, because he has not checked back into this game, and that's something to monitor when you're talking about soft tissue injuries. This team has been playing a schedule that way, and it only helps them. But this is where you and I have talked in the past. This is why November matters and your scheduling matters.
Right.
Because if they were outside and needed to play themselves in a tournament,
like a Wake Forest,
it forces them to go undefeated. And it's not their fault. They have no control over their February and March schedules, but you have control of.
Jr. has had 17 points tonight to join Javon Hadley's 19. And this is a Louisville team that's played without Chucky Hepburn since the 15-minute mark of the second half. As we remind you, terrific doubleheader right here on ACC Network. Women's basketball tips off Virginia Tech and Virginia, and then Cal at Notre Dame in a battle of top 25 ranked teams. Louisville now has their largest lead of the night, 18-point lead for a Cardinals team that's been in control since tip-off. Cross-court pass finds Dion Brown. He can't hit it.
Good play coming out. Good execution in 3, just unable to go down. We're at a critical point here for BC. A lot of time left to try to get back in, but you got to get stops.
Nice spin move. Abubakar Traore making it look easy, and Louisville leads by 20. Foul called on the inside.
Traore is just really quick with the basketball. Drive, feels the contact, spins. It's essentially a post move by a guard. You teach guys, you drive middle when they're cut off. When you spin, it creates an angle to allow you to finish. It's great to see guards do that. That's just a big man move that guards, when you're driving, should implement more in their game.
So that free throw ends a 3-minute scoring drought for Boston College and ends Louisville's 9-0 run. They've ballooned this lead to 19.
See if BC has some full court pressure here. You're at the free throw line.
That's exactly what they do. Now, this is what we're used to seeing from Louisville during that 10-game win streak. They weren't just winning games. They were a buzzsaw, blowing teams out. 6 double-digit wins during that stretch against some impressive opponents, and they have certainly rebounded from that disappointing effort against Georgia Tech on Saturday.
Just so unselfish. Everyone buys in, commits to doing their job, and doing the little things. They understand their personnel, where everyone is.
Smith, catch and shoot. Off balance, and he missed it. Waterman, offensive rebound. Here's Javon Hadley. 21 points to his name tonight. His second 20-point game this season. And draws the foul in the paint. Now, what's so impressive about this run in the second half for Louisville is they've done it largely without Chucky Hepburn, who at the 15-minute mark, you can see there clearly in pain. He exited the game and has not returned, ruled out as questionable.
Yeah, you see him joking on the bench, and let's hope it's nothing serious, but it's a soft tissue injury, and he grabbing his groin area there. Went out back, came back on the court. Seems to be no ice, nothing on the, no wrap. I just think this could be just they're up big and they want to rest him now.
Now, his head coach, Pat Kelsey, was not happy with the Bob Cousy Award watch list this week. And we're in Boston, so we got to talk about the Bob Cousy Award, which goes to the nation's best point guard. Cousy, of course, the legendary Boston Celtic, and coached the Eagles from 63 to 69. So they released the nation's top 10 point guard and coach John Austin, which we told you earlier. I got to say, I'm with Kelsey. You can't find me 10 better point guards than Chucky Hepburn.
Well, and if you look at the list, there's a couple of combo guards on there. Chucky Hepburn's impact on both ends of the floor, he's definitely top 10. I don't know who voted for that list, but that needs to be updated immediately. And I would add Donovan Dent at New Mexico on that list as well. I think he's 19 and 6 a game. They're first in the Mountain West. I don't know why neither of those guys are on that list. I don't know 10 point guards playing better than either of those two.
So I have a theory. And with Chucky Hepburn, it's that the stats lie a little bit, right? If you just look at the numbers, okay. But look at what he does on defense. Look at what he's done for leadership for this Louisville team to turn around this program in the fashion he has. Not only should he be on the list, he should be considered winning the award.
No, you're talking about an all Big Ten defender. He should be up for ACC Defensive Player of the Year.
Agreed.
When you talk about the impact that he has. He has that type of impact on this team. I don't understand it, and I don't think there's enough national to talk about, even with Chase Hunter, the year that he's having, a 50, 40, 90 chase that he's having that hadn't been done since Kyrie Irving.
The officials blow play dead here. Anyway, we're in Boston. Felt like you had to mention that Chucky Hepburn was snubbed from that Bob Cousy Award watch list, which goes to the nation's best point guard. Pat Kelsey made his feelings known on social media.
He sees it every day. He knows the impact that he has.
And now Javon Hadley is limped off for Louisville. That's why the officials blew play dead there. So Hepburn, we just mentioned, went out earlier in the second half. And now Hadley getting looked at the training staff, who's been very busy in this second half. Hadley led the Cardinals in scoring tonight with 22. Rain Smith passes off the three. Roots in the corner. A 4-point play potentially. Count it, plus the foul for the freshman.
They keep coming at you in waves. They just don't let up. Corner three by Root. He gets in the act. Louisville.
One in the country taking on number 8 Boston University. They have not won a Beanpot since 2016 when they beat BU. That's the 4 Boston schools competing for who's the best hockey team in Boston.
I've always enjoyed hockey during the playoffs.
Oh, the Beanpot, TD Garden's going to be rocking on Monday night. I can guarantee you that. And they raffled off 4 free tickets to the students that showed up here tonight. They just got announced at our final media break.
I realized when I was younger how tough hockey players were when I tried to train with them. Being from Washington, D.C., I tried to train with some of the Washington Capitals, and oh gosh, it was unbelievable. It was embarrassing to see those guys, how strong they were, and I tried to ride the bike and compete with them. It was laughable. I embarrassed myself.
Boston College had hung around in this game, and then Louisville went on a 17-2 run over the last 5 minutes to really balloon this thing out of territory of a potential comeback.
Yeah, just keep coming at you in waves. No let up in Louisville. And again, we talked about them in so many offensive weapons, but again, they're back to guarding and defending at a high level.
And an alley-oop to James Scott. 3 minutes remaining, and Louisville will get right back into the win column after a surprise loss to Georgia Tech on Saturday. And Javon Hadley, tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Wendy's, a team high 22.
He was efficient early, getting to his spots, punishing the smaller guards in the post, knocking down a couple of threes, and difficult matchup when you play him. You put a bigger body on him, he takes you outside and drives you. You put a smaller guy up and post you inside. Just knows what he is. Really comfortable within his offense. And a big reason why also with Hepburn of why they've been able to sustain this level of success and winning despite the guys being injured and in and out of the lineup.
Just felt like Louisville found an extra gear in this second half after a disappointing second half Saturday. Saw a 10-game winning streak snapped, and now Pat Kelsey's team can start a new winning streak after this one.
Yeah, you can't start until you get the first one. Great respond here, I think, defensively, what you're looking for out of the Cardinals, and I thought they came out here and really set the tone on the defensive end of the floor.
A lob to Hastings. You know, he's been a bright spot for BC. Filling in for Chad Venning, who missed tonight's game with a foot injury.
He has. He's had his spots defensively and provided some rim protection. A couple of goaltends. You don't mind that. He's giving them a presence inside. He's not the offensive threat that Chad Venning is, but defensive and rebounding is where he can hang his hat.
Right on cue, Hastings steals it away. Now, when we heard that BC was going to be without Venning tonight, we looked at each other and said it's going to be impossible for them to compete. But I think you credit Jaden Hastings, the young big man filling in for Venning, for giving Boston College a chance. Certainly had this game within touching distance really for 30 minutes of it, and then in these final 10 minutes allowed Louisville to separate themselves.
There's still a reason to be positive with BC. This is at times the young group on the floor. And again, with this guard play and the 4-guard lineup will make it a tough out. You know, you're just playing a Louisville Cardinal team that's just defending it, but they're scoring at a rate. Sometimes I think this inexperienced BC group just takes some quick, ill-advised shots. They could just settle down and play at their own pace and kind of don't worry about the score as much. I think they'll find themselves in more games as we go down the final home stretch here of the season.
Offensive rebound. Kenai Roots, he's provided some nice minutes off the bench tonight for Pat Kelsey's team. The Cardinals make a couple of substitutions here with a minute left to play. You know, they did get up in the first half by 15, 29-14. BC punched back a couple times, but overall, I'd say this is a very comfortable road conference win for Pat Kelsey's group.
It is, and it's back to what we talked about, how they were in that 10-game win streak. They were a dominant team during that stretch, and they came here to Conti Foreman with a dominant performance. And it started with another steal here, and you can see it because of the defensive intensity they came out of this game. And got to be really impressed with Louisville going forward.
They've had multiple runs in this game. You know, 12-0 run, 15-0 run, 19-2 run. And you put enough of those together like Louisville has, and when they went on their win streak, that's what they were doing. It was both sides of the basketball, not just the threes and the scoring for Pat Kelsey's team, but the stretches of defense where they can shut their opponent down.
Well, they're really good in transition, so when they create turnovers, they get the ball from backcourt to front court as quick as anyone. And again, there's so many handlers, so many guys capable of pushing and attacking you off the bounce, and they're all looking for that guy when they do so. And everyone else knows their role. Guards, you got to box out when you're playing Louisville because their guards go to the offensive glass. They don't shoot a great percentage, but they shoot a lot of shots because they go to the glass, they create turnovers defensively. It's a difficult team to compete against because they play out of script. They're not running a ton of sets. They're just playing.
Now they finished this game holding Boston College to a 2.5-minute scoring drought, and Louisville improves to 10-2 in ACC play with a convincing win, 84-58 here at Chestnut Hill.
It's a great performance there by Louisville. BC had a moments early.